Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel where we have some crafty fun in store for you. Today we're going to be working with Spellbinders July 2024 club kits. I have the Glimmer kit of the month, the stitching die of the month, the embossing folder of the month, and the wax seal of the month. So let's take a look at them together and see what we can make. First up, for the Glimmer foil, we have this Wishing You Joy sentiment, and we also have these holly leaves and berries. I think these are absolutely stunning. There's also a matching stencil that goes along with those for the holly leaves and berries. Then for the embossing folder, we have this geometric snowflake design. Again, very versatile, can be used in lots of different scenes. And then this lovely bow, which you'll see I made both a stitching die card with it and also non-stitching die card. So again, if you're not into stitching dies, this is still a great one to have in your stash for birthdays or any type of time you're giving a gift. And last up, we have the wax seal of the month kit. Now, unfortunately, I didn't actually film the card that goes with this, but I will show you the card. But I think this is such a pretty little snowflake and so great to put on any gift cards that you're making, any tags, holiday tags, just really great little design, especially if you're doing non-denominational stuff. Now, when I make cards, I think I make them slightly differently than other people do. I tend to like to do all of my die cutting at once and do like all the elements, create them all together all at once, and then kind of put my cards together after that. So right now I'm just going ahead and doing a lot of different die cuts with this bow design, and then you'll see me, I'll make lots of different cards using this die cut set. A few months ago, I picked up the Anna Griffin die cut machine. It's an electric die cutting machine, and I picked that up about a couple months ago when it was on sale for half price. So normally it's like $300, and I got it for $150, which was a great deal. And I still love my Spellbinders Platinum for a lot of things like doing the better press or glimmer foiling, but I find the Empress works really well when you're doing a lot of little die cuts, and you're doing a lot of die cuts all at once, and it just saves you so much hand cranking, and it just makes it so much more enjoyable. So just a little tip there if you're able to get it and you can get a good deal on it, I would recommend that. Now I'm taking the die cut pieces from the stitching die, but you'll notice I didn't use the stitching elements with them. I thought it would be really cool to use the embossing folder on these elements and create a bow that has this embossed look on it. And then once I've embossed it, I'm using this lunar paste and I'm going over it just lightly with my finger so that the texture becomes really apparent and you can really see it. And I think the effect that it gave was really cool. I like this icy blue color as well, and it complements the lighter blue that I'm also using. So this is the Simon Hurley lunar paste, and I'll have the link down below. For the next bow, I'm going ahead and using the Spellbinders glitter paper. This is great glitter paper because it doesn't slough off, like the glitter stays very nicely on the paper itself. It does come out a little bit more difficult because it is thicker paper, but it still came up pretty easily once you kind of bend it where the folds are. So that was absolutely beautiful color there for Christmas, and for the interior of the bow you can use a different color, and so for that I use the gold glitter paper. Now for the stitching process, one of the things I'm having a little difficulty with is finding a good thread to stitch with. Now I got embroidery floss that I stitch with, and then I had some gold thread from different things and some that was kind of like more wiry and stuff, but I haven't found one that I really like that I think stays kind of stiff enough to stay where I want it to in the holes when I'm doing the stitching, and then the other one is a little bit too thick. So if you guys have any favorite threads that you use when you are using the stitching dies, drop a note below and let me know. And I chose gold for the color of the thread, not just because it's the color of Christmas, but because of the way that I'm going to do the background of this card. And you'll see I'm going to choose some gold embossing powder, and I think it comes out really nice. To make my bow look a little bit more finished on the one that I'm not doing the stitching on, I'm just going over it with this gel pen and just highlighting the sides and everything like that, just to make it look a little bit more refined and just a little bit more like everything is intentional, and because of the way that the embossing kind of folds over on the sides, it makes it look like maybe it's not quite finished, so just adding that little touch makes it look a little bit better. Now I'm taking this blue cardstock here, and I love using cardstock that already has some gradations of color and kind of some texture to it, and I love using that as kind of a shortcut so that if I'm not in the mood to like make a fancy background, I can just go ahead and do that. I'm going over it with the embossing ink pad, which is a clear embossing ink, and then I'm going over that with this powder blue, and it's very subtle. It's actually like a sea blue, even though it looks white there. Once you heat it, it does come out to be kind kind of more of a shimmery blue. And there I'm just kind of taking off the excess of the embossing powder. Again, I am very lazy, guys. I very rarely use the embossing powder anti-static tool. I never seem to remember about it until after it's too late and I'm trying to wipe off the extra. So that's my bad. Use the embossing static tool if you want, but you can kind of see there the very subtle shine that goes on with it. Last year's Christmas clearance, I went to the Dollar Tree and I found this fake snow, and it was so pretty. There's a nice little shine and glimmer to it. It's very lightweight, doesn't add a lot of like bulk to your cards or anything like that, but I think it's just so pretty to kind of give a frosted effect without too much effort. So I'm just putting a little glue on the edges here to kind of create a frame, put it on the sides, and I'm going to go ahead and put the snowflakes into this Tupperware container to just make it a little bit easier to get it all on where the glue is, without getting too much mess everywhere. And this actually stays on really well in the card. It doesn't actually slough off at all. You don't need to worry about it making a big mess when you have it in the envelope or that it's going to come off or anything like that. It stayed very securely. It's very, very lightweight. So next year's Christmas clearance, or even when you're going to the Dollar Tree and you're getting this year's Christmas items, you might want to pick this up. Obviously, it's fairly cheap. There's a lot of it in there. It's going to get you a long way. But I found it just very useful. These sticky foam panels you can get just about anywhere. I think I got these ones from Michael's, but this really helps. Like my cardstock, you couldn't really see it there, but with everything that I put on it, it started to curl up around the edges. So just laying it on this foam piece and with the glue on one side, I'm able to make it lie flat, and then on the other side I'll be able to put glue on it to put it on my card base, and it'll raise it up and make it look nice. The next card base, I'm just doing what I did with the previous one, only this time I'm going in with some gold embossing powder. And with the gold embossing powder, you can really see on that white cardstock how it highlights all of that design, and it just looks really elegant. And I apologize because I did the glimmer foiling of the glimmer plate off camera. I somehow lost that footage. I'm not exactly sure what happened, but there it is. And I did multiple of those at the same time. Whenever I have my glimmer machine out, I like to do lots of different ones, so that way I have those in my stash whenever I need to, and then I don't have to pull out my glimmer machine again. So I made lots of those. And that sentiment is just really, really great. Wishing you joy can be used for so many different occasions. It doesn't have to just be the holidays. For my card, I decided, rather than using red holly leaves, I wanted to go ahead and match the blue background, kind of get an icy kind of look to it, a frosted look, in the same way that the card looks a little frosted, and with those snowflakes. So I went with the blueberries, even though I know holly is red. I'm putting all of the elements together here. I propped those up on some foam tape to give it a little dimension, and that is my finished card. I really like when you see it up close like that, you can really see all of the detail of the design. While I had the glimmer foil elements out, I wanted to go ahead and use the stencil that came with it, and I think this is part of the caboodle package. I don't know that it comes with it just generally, but I mixed up some colors there because I didn't have a green, and so I'm going to go ahead and stencil over that glimmer. And I like how that green came out, even though, it's a little bit more bluish and, I don't know, a little seafoam green there, but I think it looks nice, and you can always find the lunar paste in the correct color if you want, but you make do when you don't have it. Die cutting these out now with my die cut machine. I love that these come with the frames. For me, I know other people don't have this problem, but for me, I have the problem of if I'm trying to glimmer directly onto a card base and just leave it as the card base, it slides all over the place. I know people use the tape to kind of tape it down where they want to. It never seems to work very well for me, so I like being able to cut out the sentiments and then being able to place them where I want without having to worry that I'm going to waste a card base or waste the foil or anything like that. So having those dies that match really help. So that is my card all done. You'll see I popped some of the elements up with some foam tape just to give it more dimension again. I didn't add my usual bling to this. It didn't need any little sequins or anything like that. It's already very shiny, so I thought it worked well just as it is. Because I had so many of the pieces already made for this next card, it came together very quickly. I just found this kind of candy cane background from some papers that I had in my stash. You could certainly use whatever you have. I'm sure you guys have a lot of design papers that have Christmas themes or holiday themes or birthday themes or whatever you want to do. Again, this bow is really useful because you're not limited to just the holidays. You can certainly use it for the holidays, but it would make a great like birthday present, graduation present, retirement gift, whatever you're giving a gift for. So I like that. As I was putting this together, I thought that the ribbon part needed a little bit more definition from the background, so I went ahead and I die cut this kind of shadow layer or highlight layer from some white glitter cardstock that I have. It's also from Spellbinders. Putting those elements together now and then putting it on the card. The sentiment that I used for this card is one that I had from my stash. That is from a Better Press plate from last Christmas, and I think it is still available on the Spellbinders site, so that's how this one came together. I added a few sequins to it, again a little sparkle and shine since this one didn't have quite as much as some of the others. For my next card, I'm very sorry, I neglected to actually video it. I filmed these on my phone, and the night that I was making these cards I was actually on call for my job at the hospital, and what ended up happening is I had to use my phone because I was on call, so I couldn't use it to film, and I didn't really think that one through, so I didn't get a chance to film it. But here is the wax seal of the month. It comes with the white wax pieces. I added some of the blue ones to make this particular one that you're looking at here, but for the card I made, I just went with the plain white. Next card, I went ahead and just took some plain regular red cardstock. Now it did have a slight shimmer to it, which is always nice, but it's just a red cardstock, and I went ahead and added the snow effect using an acrylic paint. And I have a spray that comes from Hero Arts, but you could make the spray yourself. You just take a little bit of acrylic paint, white acrylic paint, put it in a spray bottle with some water, shake it up, spray it, and you get this nice snowy effect. You do have to sometimes be a little bit careful because it can be a little heavy, so spraying it pretty far from your card is helpful. Then took the Glimmer foil image that we made before using the lunar paste. I know this color looks a little bit more evergreen on here. That's just the way that the camera lighting made it look, but it is more of that kind of seafoam green actually. And the red on there is actually Copic markers that match the background perfectly. I don't know why it came out a little bit more red when I did it and took the picture of the card, but they do match a bit better than what you're seeing here. So I took that Glimmer foil that we did with the stencil, and then I just went over it with the Copic markers for the berries, and that's my highlight piece that I did there. The ribbon is just something that I had in my stash. I liked the gold trim on the ribbon, and then I added the little silver beads on top of that. Those silver beads are actually from a graduation hat decoration I got at clearance on Michael's, but actually those work really well because they have the sticky back on it, and so it sticks really nicely, and then you have this like long chain of beads that you can use. I added the other elements that you see here, so obviously the wax seal. The wax seal I went a little bit over with a silver paint pen to just highlight the snowflake that's in the middle. Added some beads, some pearl beads that have some sticky on the back. And then the sentiment is again from, I think actually the same set as the one before. It was a better press, but in this case I actually glimmered with it. So that's a great thing about the better press plates, is that you can actually glimmer with them at the same time. So that's where that sentiment came from. So that is our finished cards today. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's been a little while since I posted. I'm going to try to get back to posting regularly. Please like, subscribe, and share if you found this helpful. If there's anything more that you want to see, anything more detailed or anything like that, I'm happy to answer any questions. Just leave them down in the comments below. Thank you so much for spending this time with me, and I will see you next time for some more crafty fun.